here representing the Orr, Minnesota Area Economic Development Council. Our board of directors includes a representative from the Bois Forte tribe, and as well as surrounding township, former mayors, and other various and sundry people. When we hear that policy is going to be recommended, and we hear rural in the same breath, we were very curious to come and attend yesterday and today's meeting and to see what was on the horizon. I guess you could say a scalded cat fears all water. We have had experience with rural policies before that haven't really favored our particular needs in growth and development. And so we, after some discussion, and some very gratifying discussion, I might add, with people from your task force here yesterday and last evening, we feel that the governor's charge for policy recommendations is in good hands. I didn't know that our friend and neighbor from Hibbing was going to speak on the previous broadband initiatives here, and I don't think an adequate post-mortem has really been done on that process, but and I know that as a community of people in the state who furnish such services, and as small communities within the state, we're really a collection of sometimes conflicted and competing interests. But I did want to speak up on behalf of Quest. I don't know if John Stanek is here.
Yes, he is.
Right over here. Yes.
Okay, but I've dealt with Andrew and your organization, and they have been very, very helpful to us in communicating with us. And the representative of MediaCom as well is here. We've been in dialogue with MediaCom. They've been very helpful, as the Paul Bunyan Telephone Company. We believe that if these folks are engaged, and they're very important players on the state scene, if they're engaged in the right channel, they're great contributors to all of us. So I just wanted to put that little comment in. Now, in terms of this mapping business, our preference would be to see mapping done in more than one dimension. Connectivity, and of course we're working with an imperfect process to do that connectivity right now, but we believe that mapping needs to be done not only for connectivity, but also for capacity, capability, and performance. And unless we establish those kind of baselines in our mapping process, we really have no adequate way to measure outcomes in those areas. And they're all, I think, important going forward. The information literacy in our small communities, businesses, our capabilities, our knowledge of what's available to us, the problems that we have with legacy software and so forth. Under all those dimensions of mapping, there are three subcategories, I think, that pertain to communications, shared applications, and security or risk management. I think those are subcategories under all those dimensions of mapping that we need to do. And I realize that's a more elaborate mapping process than we maybe were thinking about when we were just getting maps up of connectivity. But I think it's going forth. If we're going to be a part of a motion in the United States towards catching up with other countries that are now ahead of us in this, we can be ingenious, as we have been historically, if we don't get wrapped around our own axle and we thoughtfully look at how we're going to map and build going forward. And I would suggest also that There are lots of things that policy can do, as we recommend policy for the state. Policy can constrain and it can enable, and I would think that the overwhelming theme that we would wish that your policy recommendations would foster is enablement. Maybe we shouldn't even use a superlative like ultra-high-speed broadband, because 10 years from now that might be kind of an embarrassment to us. And our rural communities, as I said to somebody yesterday, are not, we need to be considered as more than moving to a Mayberry 2.0. We have some sense of how data that we need is not being served up to us now, and is not, that we need to use in our development and planning on a community by community level, and that each community has a unique sort of information needs landscape that should be mapped going forward. In business, anyone who administers technology learns that you design from the bottom up, you implement from the top down. And if you don't do that, you've lost your company a lot of money, you'll be fired. But implementation begins with a thoughtful, user-derived requirements analysis that is then translated into policy and design and business planning that comes down from the top. I've shot all my caps. I thank you for your time.